Hello again to another episode of Beth the Chef. I hope everyone is all good. They enjoyed their panna cottas last week. We're going to highlight a lot of British produce this week. Now, we do like Scotch eggs, but I'm not a big fan of the supermarket ones. The meat almost looks grey. The breadcrumbs, I think, are a little bit soggy, to be honest. And you don't get that luscious runny yolk that you want in a Scotch egg. So we're going to bring it up a notch, let's say. So this week we're doing Scotch egg. I'm gonna show you the secret to awesome fruity brown sauce. Now, brown sauce, it can be a lot of variations. This one is 4 different types of fruits in it, so very fruity. And it certainly tarts up your bacon sandwiches, put it that way. And oh yes, and for a little bit of texture to our dish, we're just going to do some crispy sage, which is a great addition to many dishes, not only for texture and for look, because that well-known saying, you eat with your eyes, but it gives a nice fragrance to your dishes as well. So we've got a fair bit to pack in again, and without further ado, let's cook. Right, so the first stage will be to make our awesome fruity brown sauce. So gathered all the ingredients up. In here, it's all roughly diced, but there's 1 onion, white onion, 1 tomato, 1 peel cord chopped Granny Smith, and 1 microplane garlic clove. Now, this is partially what makes the sauce fruity, are these sliced dates. Now, in here is 150 grams of medjool dates, which aren't as sweet as the dates I used in the Christmas frangipane episode. Those were Diglet Nord dates, and these, yes, they have a bit more of a fruitiness, but they're also a great source of calcium, which is good to know. And I've just got one here to show you because they're bloody massive. So, yep, there's the dates. We'll go with our spices next. So a little pot of spices there. There's the zest of 1 orange, half a teaspoon of ground nutmeg, just over 40 grams of light soft brown sugar, and a little bit of salt. There's just under half a teaspoon of salt in there. And finally our liquids. So yeah, I've got liquids in there. And in here there's 35 ml of white wine vinegar, a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, a teaspoon of dark soy sauce, and just over a teaspoon of golden syrup, which we'll go over to the heat now, but our first stage is to simply sweat our veg off. We are, so our veg is starting to soften a little now, so we add our remaining ingredients, our dates, the lovely spices and the sugar. So it's all coated well. Break up that orange zest there. Should be able to start smelling the fragrances now. Smells a little Christmassy. I'm going to add the liquid. And using the same jug, I'm going to get about 500 mils of water in there. And it's as simple as that. Just pop a lid on, simmer for 40-45 minutes, and then you're ready to blitz. Right, so just got the brown sauce mix into a bowl and ready to blitz, and then going to pass it through into another bowl, let it cool down, and then pop it in your container. And what's great about this is, as well as ketchups, homemade ketchups, chutneys, jams, they can all last in your fridge for up to a month. Right, so the next stage is to sort out our eggs for the Scotch eggs. And what you need is a pan of water, and once it's at a rolling boil, pop your eggs in. Get a little bowl of cold water to one side for blanching when they're boiled. There you go. So yeah, once your water's there, carefully drop in your eggs. And boil them for 6 minutes. Pop straight into the cold water after. Right, so once they're done and they're straight into the cold water, we're going to peel them, and I'm going to keep the water here for a little trick I'm going to show you, but it just helps get all the shell off, in a way wash all the fragments of shell off while peeling. So lightly tap around. Use your thumb, see, and every little bits, just rinse off. That way you'll get a nice soft egg with no crunchy bits of shell. There. Right, so the eggs are left to one side, and for the Scotch egg mix, in here there's 250 grams of lean pork mince, and to that just got another pot of spices. So in here there's half a teaspoon of ground cardamom, a teaspoon of smoked paprika, about a quarter teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of onion powder, and just half a teaspoon of cumin seeds, because, well, cumin goes great with pork, but they're quite fragrant, so you didn't want too many. This is going to go straight into the pork. And put your hands in there. Oh, I've got my eggs now again. And we're just going to shape them. Now the key to this is to have a little bowl of cold water to the side again. And by doing this and wetting your hands before shaping each egg, you can get the disc nice and flat, and the mince won't actually stick to your hands, so it's quite convenient. So what you do is half your mix. Wash your hands. Make flat, like a flat pate. Now I've seen many techniques, using cling film as one to shape these, but I feel like this technique is the best, or for me it works the best. Egg in the middle, and very lightly tuck around and shape. Now you want it to be quite secure, but be very delicate, because you don't want to burst it really, burst your egg in there. So pinch the sides like so, that always helps. Take your time making sure all the gaps are sealed up. Right, so I've got my little station ready and I'll go through it, but like I mentioned in the fish finger sandwich episode, pane station, paneing is just flour, egg and breadcrumbs. I've got 100 grams of plain flour in here, 2 eggs and 100 grams of panko breadcrumbs, and I always prefer panko because it's more of a texture. It feels like more of a crunch. But to make these, spruce the Scotch eggs up a little bit, make these extra special. To the egg yolks, well, the eggs, I'm going to add a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. Mush up the egg yolks. There we go, there's the egg yolks. Lightly whisk with a fork to break them down, and so you can coat it well. It doesn't have to be whole eggs. If you've got leftover whites or leftover yolks from previous recipes, or anything you've done with them, you can use them. And the theory to this is hopefully a bit of this mix will go into the pork mince, infuse it, let's say. There we go. And I'm going to get our Scotch eggs, but go flour, egg, breadcrumbs. Pop it in the order that you would, so you can, if you get what I mean. Yeah, the size of them. And yeah, use your hands, but be a little delicate about it. And make sure it's generously coated. Now, if you're doing big batches of these, I'd recommend flouring them all first, then in the egg, and then in the breadcrumbs, just because you won't get a massive mess on your hands. But 2 of them, you don't have to worry too much. Now this is where you have to be a little careful in the egg. Yeah, put to one side, and then we'll get our fryers sorted. Right, so I've got my fryer ready and it's heated at 170 degrees. So it won't take long, but once it is heated up, just get your Scotch eggs. And fry off 3 to 4 minutes each side. Now the cooking of the meat will make sure it's nice and hot, but still get that runny yolk. Every now and then move them, just so they're not, make sure they're not stuck on the bottom there. Once done, just pop to one side, and I've just got some sage here, some fresh sage leaves, and we're going to pop them quickly in the fryer later on. And this is a great way actually to tart up dishes, and especially tart up roast dinners. It gives you more of the comfort of a roast dinner. Try it and you'll see what I mean. So there they are, nice and golden. Drain them off a little, and keep your fryer on 170 degrees for your sage. I'm going to leave these to one side. Now the sage won't take long, 15 to 20 seconds, but word of a warning, step back a little when it goes in the fryer, because it can have a tendency to spit. I don't know if you've ever fried kale before, but it's not as powerful, but it's still got a bit of power behind it. There we go. Now you should see the leaves start to almost get translucent and slightly darken in colour. Right, so I've got everything here ready, and got my brown sauce again. Now I'm just going to show you, like they do on the telly, how they do the swipe, which does look great on plates. The key behind it is to not really think about it. You want about just over half teaspoon. Now pop it there. Wiping the edge and a quick swipe. Just go for it. Each one is a little different, but it all comes with practice. It's just with the tip of your spoon, by the way. And I'm going to put some there, which the egg is going to sit on top of. There. Now for the egg, cut diagonally in half but at an angle. Careful with that yolk. I'm going to put one there. One like so you can see the yolk. There we go. And I'm gonna finish off with some sage leaves, almost framing the egg. And here we have it, our yolky, warming, indulgent Scotch egg with the runny yolk, crispy sage for fragrant and texture, and lovely fruity brown sauce. So spread the word, Beth the chef, once again. Join us next time where we're going to get some white crab and do a nice white crab and dill risotto with a chili and lime gremolata. Yep, bon appetit.